Welcome to Conversations with Body and Mind. Body and Mind is your largest health and wellness online directory. Today, with myself, Antoinette Nirvana, I'm welcoming Taryn Sydow, and she is from Surrender to Your Soul. Welcome today, Taryn.
Hi there. Thank you so much for having me.
Looking forward to finding out a little bit more about what it is you do. Who is Taryn, and how did you get to doing the work that you're doing? How did you become a healer? What was the things in your life that kind of put you onto this journey?
Well, it's an interesting story. I suppose we all have an interesting story, but I was very intuitive as a child, and then just decided to switch it off because it seemed disturbing for people. And through the process of switching off, became quite aware that from an intellectual point of view, that seemed to be where I was well recognized and rewarded. And so I really switched off everything to do with my heart and went into my mind and pursued a career to become an accountant and ended up in merchant banking. And was very senior in the world of merchant banking. And if you want one way to learn how to not use your intuition and to use your intellect, then you're going to go into the world of corporate, yes? And so that kind of led me to be very disconnected from my body. And whilst I was very successful, I wasn't very well and I wasn't very fulfilled and I wasn't very happy. And that led to quite a severe burnout at the age of 32. I was very successful, and my ex husband at that point was a stay at home dad. And so I felt very trapped in this world that I was living in. Through a process of a number of events, I ended up leaving the world of corporate. I was very at a crossroads in my life, not knowing what to do anymore and where to go. And that led me on a path to find the world of coaching and neurolinguistic programming. And through NLP and neurosemantics, I kind of connected back with my body. And as I did that, my intuition started becoming more and more alive, I could say, in my world. And so through that journey, I really started to connect in much deeper with my own sense of knowing of what was going on for clients, and was often asked, how do you know what to ask? And I was like, oh, it just seems obvious to me. And I was still very resistant to embracing, I suppose, what people would call the spiritual gifts that come with that, until my brother-in-law was killed in a car accident 8 years ago, and I had needed to go and identify his body. And I stood in this tiny little morgue with his body. Kind of the best way I can describe it to people is I woke up. I just had this instant download of remembering who I was and what I was supposed to be doing here on earth at this time, and really realized I was living a life that was not serving my joy and wasn't serving my own heart. And so that really opened up a minefield of transformation. I started to connect in very deeply with my gifts and started going to teachers and healers myself and started working with energy and crystals, and the best way I can describe it to many people is a path of remembering, and remembering from many lifetimes what I'd done before. And I would go and see healers, and they would ask me why I was there, because I was supposed to be the one they were coming to. And that sort of started to really wake me up to these gifts. And that led me to face my own unhappiness in my marriage at that point in time. And so, as a path of authentic expression, I chose to end that marriage, which was a very traumatic event in my life, but really my entire life fell apart. And I suppose that ends up being called the dark night of the soul. And I went through 2 years of radical transformation and came out the other side doing this work and really just following the guidance from spirits. And they kept asking me to start doing readings and start connecting with people and to start doing surrender sessions, which we'll talk about now. And as I did it, the content just came forward. And so I now spend my days supporting souls reconnecting back with their heart and reconnecting back with their truth through that process.
Taryn, I am sitting here, I'm just feeling your energy and the heart in which you are speaking at the moment. You are so in your heart, and such a light energy coming through. I'm captured by your story. Thank you for sharing that. And it's so important for many of us who have gone through things like that in our
Mm.
life to know that, there is something, there is a purpose why we are going through, as you say, these dark nights of the soul. And some of these things happen to wake us up and so that we can see the light. It is so important. So thank you very much for sharing that. So now I'd love go into surrender to your soul, what that journey is about for people that come and see you and what it is that you have to offer.
So there's two sort of aspects to me, and one is the sort of healer in me, which is really under this house of surrender to your soul, and it, it is about supporting, as I said, individuals with reconnecting back to whatever it is that they've lost sight of in this lifetime. We really come to Earth with an opportunity to heal, grow, and expand, and contribute. You know, there are no souls that are on Earth by accident at this point in time. One of the things that I'm always shown is there's even, there's more souls than bodies. And so we're quite lucky to be on Earth at this point in time and to be contributing in the way that we are through this period of awakening people back to the light. The shifting from power to love is a really big dynamic in the work that I do. And so integrating in sort of from a whole perspective, so learning to love your body, learning to love your emotions, and healing the sort of wounds of the ego of this lifetime, and learning to love the intellect and put it in service of our spirit rather than to be driving us through our mind, and then to connect back with our soul and our spirit and to live in our light and to let that be the sort of seduction of this lifetime. And so clients that come to me are ones that have a range of differing perspectives. Some, I suppose, the story I hear the most is I feel stuck and I feel lost and I don't know what's going on for me. And really, I connect in with their guides to bring forward the Akashic records of this lifetime of what it is that you chose to come to do and what it is that's holding you back from experiencing this. Which can include healing wounds in this lifetime and all past lifetimes. Because, we can carry forward decisions and vows and hurts and contracts from past lives that may be slowing down our own progression in this lifetime. And so really the readings I do take on their own life and their own form. I'm guided by what the client needs, and each session becomes this sort of unique entry points into that person's world and allows them to see themselves in a way they haven't seen themselves before and shifts their perspective and brings into the conscious mind that which has been dormant and lost, I suppose, in a way. So that's pretty much on the surrender side, the work that I do, and feel deeply honored to help people lighten up, I suppose. This life is not supposed to be as difficult as we make it. But everything serves, and to come to that consciousness of how it's serving your growth and how the divine is on your side is very, very rewarding work. And the other side of what I do is I'm a teacher, and so I do a lot of teaching work as well to help people learn how to connect to spirit, because this is not a gift, it's something we can all do, and how to start opening their hearts and working with their own divinity so that they can bring forward their light to the world. So I have both aspects of that in my business.
And so the teaching that you're doing, that's basically workshops around channeling and healing sessions, so that other people can learn to connect?
So I run a program called Lifting the Veil, which is an 8-month program teaching people how to work with spirit, so how to work with energy, how to do mediumship readings, how to connect with your guides and ascended beings, how to work with your higher self. So that's quite a beautiful program I run, which is for people that are wanting to work with spirits. But then I also run a whole lot of other programs. I run a program called The Art of Surrender, which is about how to live life in flow with life. I run a program, weekend workshops. One of them is called Heal Your Relationship with Money. There's some new ones coming called Heal Your Relationship with Time, Heal Your Relationship with Your Body. So many of these sorts of things come forward. And then I also do fun workshops like The Joy of Crystals and The Joy of Sacred Geometry, where I teach people about sacred geometry, how to draw it and work with it and create mandalas. And connect to spirit through that way. So a range of programs, and I continuously get guided to bring forward new workshops and new offerings to bring people to connect and find their joy again.
That's great, Taryn. And how can people get hold of you and where are you based? And please, can you also give us your social media pages and contact details of so that people can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I'm based in Radio Corp, which is in Gauteng, but I work online as well. So I do a lot of Skype sessions. So I don't believe time and space are really impediments for the work that we do. I do run my workshops predominantly in Bryanston, although there are some online workshops as well. The best places to get hold of me is www.surrendertoyoursoul.com. And my email address is Taryn, Taryn, at surrendertoyoursoul.com. In terms of social media, the best place to connect with me is on Facebook. My Facebook page is called Taryn Sydow Surrender to Your Soul. And every Monday evening, I do weekly messages from Spirit. I do a live reading every Monday night at 7:30 and do free readings for whoever's live. So it's a wonderful place to come and connect and get a sort of weekly burst of light from the divine and to get your own personal messages given to you as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's such a lovely way for people to just connect with you
Mm.
as well as experiencing what that is like. And just there's just something about going on social media and going on a live stream where people can really get something like that and then take it further and see how they can then open up their intuition and their own healing. Taryn, so that is then our conversation today, and thank you very much for sharing your information. I also just want to remind that you can also get hold of Taryn on our Body and Mind website, which is www.bodyandmind.co.za, and you can put in the search bar Surrender to Your Soul as well as Taryn Sydow, Sydow. You can search for her details on there, which will take you to her website as well. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our interviews, and you will be reminded of our next extraordinary conversation. Thank you for sharing with us today, Taryn.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for the time.